Welcome to the Reality or Not podcast with your boy DJ Reality and your homie Ed. What up, Ed, man? How you doing?
I'm all right, man. What about yourself?
Doing pretty good, good energy. Um, I actually got to call my pops for Father's Day. I haven't had a chance to do that. But other than that, this is Sunday. Been up early, knocking out some of the things in the house and getting some yard work done. But other than that, everything is pretty chill, man. Just need to get some stuff aligned and go from there. So
Okay. Sounds fascinating.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. So, in the midst of, we recorded the last podcast and wanted to make sure that we were giving y'all the best quality that it was, as we had recorded an album series with Raekwon, only built for Cuban Linx, and a breakdown of each of the tracks. The quality didn't come out where it was missing every word, so we wanted to make sure that we was able to give it to you, and you can make your decision on how you feel about it, and you can just listen to us talk about it. But all that being said, the album that we're going to talk about, as I mentioned, is Raekwon, only built for Cuban Linx. One of my favorite albums, and it's very highly regarded as a classic. So I just wanted to give my spiel, or we wanted to give our spiel of a breakdown of each track and go from there. But other than that, we could jump right into it. We got Striving for Perfection, first track on the album. Don't know if we need to spend too much time on that one, but how do you feel about that one, Ed?
Like just the introduction, kind of set the album off, gives you the little mafioso vibe that they're gonna be on, I believe. So,
No,
yeah,
that's dope. And I had looked at, well, we had looked at some stuff past week, whatever, and he was saying, how this is one of the more cinematic type of albums, and it kind of laid the foundation. As I said, I think some albums were doing that before, but this one kind of elevated that idea of having different AKAs, or you had
right.
Tony Stark or Lex Diamonds, or all of these different Wu Gambino names that were introduced to us. Speaking of that, man, did you ever do the Wu Tang generator of what your name is, your Wu Tang name?
Um, I think I did, but I can't even remember what the name was.
I'm gonna look
What
mine up.
about you?
I can't remember what mine is, but an interesting fact, I don't know if you knew this, but Childish Gambino or Donald Glover, that's where he got his name
Oh,
from, was from the
I
Wu
do remember
generator.
that.
So
I do remember hearing that. Yeah.
it was kind of dope, like you knew that, like fans and stuff like that, back in the day was, doing these types of things. So all that being said, we can move on to track number two. We got Knuckleheads featuring Ghostface and You God. Um, how do you feel about that track? Jumping off the album, and just where would you, not necessarily rate it, but like just give your opinion on the song?
I mean, I thought it was a solid song. I know we talked about this last week. I mentioned that not really impressed with you guys' verse. Felt like Knowledge God probably would have been the better song to come with after the intro, but I mean, it's not a bad song. I mean, like I said, you guys really wasn't saying anything in his verse. They probably just could have kept it to they could have kept it mad short, with just like Ghost and Ray doing a verse, maybe giving Ray another verse since it was his album. But it's not. I mean, it's not bad. I can listen to it. It's not bad. It's just you hear you God and you like, oh yeah, you God is a member of the Wu Tang Clan, so they got to give him verses sometimes.
Yeah, the one thing that's good about that song is that You God goes last.
Right.
So if you don't want to listen to it, that's fine. But I always feel like within the Wu, as you mentioned, as them being a group, you're going to get Wu Tang members all over. So it's going to be some that I like and some that I don't like. And not to say that his, well, I didn't like his verse, but at the same time, it was I don't know, better than raw. I'm gonna give it to you straight like cocaine, straight from Bolivia. Like I don't know. I never was a fan of You guys, so this is one of those, like, even if you remove them off of here and you had just the two verses, I think it's still a good song, but I think it just works for their crew. and it's not a song
Yeah,
that hurts the album. So
no, not at all.
yeah,
Not at all.
yeah. So with Knowledge Guard, like how do you feel? That's number three on the album. That's the first Raekwon song by himself. How do you feel about that one?
No, I like it. I mean, I thought it was solid. I thought it was dope. I think, like you said last week, probably would have been the better song to like start the album with after the intro. It's Raekwon by himself. Well, I like the production on there. No, I mean, I thought it was a dope song. I can rock with it. What about you?
I liked it a lot. It's probably one of the songs that, when they get into that God body, 85% talk and stuff
Yeah.
like that, I don't feel like it came off that much on this song where it was just him rapping.
Hmm.
And sometimes that, like I said, sometimes I hear things and I listen back and I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about, back then? But this is one of those songs I thought it was straightforward, and it would have been a good kickoff to the album. But now that I think about it, I'm like, well, where would you have put Knuckleheads at? If Because like I said, I don't think Knuckleheads was a great song to start the album with, but I don't know. It's almost as if that song, I don't know, may have been a better song for a Wu Tang project. I don't know. Like instead, like a Wu Tang album instead of a Raekwon album, as far as Knuckleheads. But like I said, still not a bad song. I mean, but this song would have kicked it off better or gave a better flow as
Hmm.
far as a cinematic view of where they were trying to go with the album. It felt like they just recorded Knuckleheads and they was like, well, it's a good song. Let's put this on the album somewhere. And that
Right.
all, in my opinion, sometimes come down to syncing and stuff like that. Like I told you, my overall beef with Common, One Day It All Makes Sense, was more so the syncing of the album, not necessarily the quality of
Oh,
songs
yeah,
of the album. So
that's true.
yeah. So Criminology number 4, featuring Ghostface Killer. How do you feel about that one?
I mean, I like criminology. I think we're spoken like I think I was just looking it up. It was the second single
Hmm.
off the album. For some reason, I put criminology and glaciers of ice together. Even though I mean, you hear them, you know the difference. But I
Hmm.
don't know if it's because they were. Uh, I don't know. I don't even know if they had videos for both of them. But I
Definitely
mean,
Glacier
I
of
like.
Ice. I don't remember
Yeah,
Criminology.
nah. But I like. No, I mean, I enjoyed criminology. Like you said, it was one of the first songs I heard off of the album since not necessarily. I mean, it says here it was a second single. Came out June 26, 95.
Hmm.
Um, trying to see when the album itself came out. Um, nah, man, I thought it was cool. Ghost and Ray doing the thing that they, that back and forth everything that they've kind of been known for, like just them rapping together. I
Let
like the
me ask this
production on
question.
it.
Would you think, you had just mentioned it with them going back and forth, do you think that if it was just them two rapping on an album, it would be a better album? Or do you think that, I mean, like I said, it's a Wu Tang album, right? So, but do you think this album would have been better? Because I think on the cover it has it featuring, I think it says featuring Tony Starks and Lex Diamonds, or at least featuring Tony Starks. Um, do you think it would have been a better quality album just with them two?
Um, mm, I mean, I don't know because I mean, I think it's a damn near classic as it is. Um, I think Capadonna. He was on Ice Cream. I think he was on a couple other. Like I don't think. I mean, we just talked about you got a knucklehead. Um, I don't think like there were any like really just horrible features on there. I think about like Wu Gambinos, like the basically the Wu Tang Posse cut. Like that's probably one of my favorite tracks on the album.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. I don't know. Uh, I think I'm cool for that as is because I think there was still like. Let me go back and look at the track list. And
Yeah, and I feel that. I mean, I was just thinking like, if it was just them, it would have been more cohesive. But at the same time, you giving up, you got that means you giving up Kappa, or you giving up,
right.
like you said, you giving up the Wu Gambino track, or you giving up the track with Inspector Deck and Genius.
Yeah.
So it's your give and a take. I mean, you take the crew for what it's worth. And I'm trying to think now. Was did Oh Dirty even make this album?
No,
Uh,
it was not on this album.
yeah. So I mean, I I do feel like with the flow of the album and how it's created, the features that they have on there. I mean, I do feel that it would be a little bit more cohesive if it's just them two because they got great chemistry. It's like hearing an album with Jada and Styles, right? I think that
Right.
could have been a dope ass album. If they ever, I mean, Sheik, I mean, throw Sheik in there too. But I'm just saying, if it was just them two rapping and made an album, I
Right.
think that them coming together, it'd be a better album than Styles recording by himself, or Sheik recording, or Jada recording by himself, or um, or a Locks album in general. So,
I see what you're saying. I got what you're saying.
you know,
Uh, yeah, maybe.
cool. The next
Maybe they'll
track,
do the only built for Cuban Links 3.
why?
So you can get the Ghost and Ray collab album that you wanted.
Nah, we just want a Ghost and Ray collab album. Don't keep putting these extra tags on there
Mhm.
and muddying up the out. Well, you know what? I never understood that. Why people do that 20 years later or 10 to 15 years later. Like that was what was kind of cool with Hove. Hove was just like volume one, volume two, volume three, and then blueprint one, blueprint two. Then blueprint three came kind of later. I think blueprint two was like 2002, and I think blueprint three was like 2009. But because then you had the Black album, then you had Kingdom Come, then you had um, the American Gangster soundtrack or his American Gangster album. Then the Blueprint 3 came up. So it's kind of like, I don't know, man, just you put too much pressure on yourself. And maybe it's just trying to build up anticipation for that only built for Cuban Links 2 album or whatever, but yeah, let's stay away from those. I mean, they had plenty of album like you can name it Blood on Chef's Apron or something like that. That was a considered album title at one point in time. So it's like, geez, let's just stay away from muddying up your classics or classic in your eyes albums. So
Okay.
cool. How do you feel about number 5, Incarcerated Scarface is another Inspector Deck, another Raekwon solo joint by himself. And granted, he only had, well, at least from Ghostface perspective, Ghostface is on 12 of 18 of these songs. So it's essentially a collaboration album between each other, but then you have other Wu Tang members mixed in as well. So, but how do you feel about Incarcerated Scarfaces?
No, I thought it was dope. I like the beat on there. Um, the beat was hard to me. I remember the video. I think it was
Mhm.
like I feel like he was on a. It's like in the looked like he was in the projects on a fire escape or something like that from what I remember. But no, I mean, just knock niggas out the box. Like I'm just thinking about the beat. Like when I think about Incarcerated Scarface, I just think about like kind of how hard the beat was, and then but Raekwon doing what Raekwon do, dropping his little lyrics and everything. Um, for some reason, I was thinking about a comparison to as far as lyrically thinking about a comparison the Cream where like almost like Raekwon was just like talking about like I guess like growing up in New York at that time or whatever. and Incarcerated Scarface is kind of makes me think of that. Not like it's not like a direct link or anything, but it's kind of puts me in the vein of like how he was what he was rhyming about, like kind of like just the rhyming of
Pissy
Cream. Kind
hallways,
of yeah makes me like talking about makes me think that
dirty
so that's
elevators.
kind of yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah, that's what
very
Incarcerated
grimy.
Scarface makes me think about. Yeah, there you go. That's probably the word I was looking for, but
Yeah.
couldn't come up with like uh the lyrics were just like grimy, not like sometimes Ghost and Ray got the had the moments where they give you the nonsensical rhymes or maybe some of the super flashy stuff or the heavy mafioso stuff, but this was kind of like grimy, which I think is reminiscent of what his Queen verse was. Um, nah, but it was probably Scarface's. I'd probably say it's one of my favorite tracks on the album.
And nah, it's one of those songs to me that I hear that like you said. I mean, I like the grimy part in the in your face lyrics. It's one of those tracks I feel that anybody can listen to. Not to say that everybody would digest it, but it was a digestible song. 'Cause when I first heard it, I was like, "Damn, this is a single." But then I started listening to it more. It kind of reminds me of Shook One's Mob Deep. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like as far as the griminess of New York, but at the same time, being able to be a song that if you played it, not everybody would vibe to it, but people would understand. People would listen. They'd be like, okay, that's I'm bobbing my head, or I'm rocking side to side, and I'm really feeling the track. Um, I just really think it's just a dope track for Ray. It
right.
was perfectly put together, and it definitely didn't need a feature. Like it was, if it had a feature, even with the chemistry of him and Ghost, it just probably would have been too much. Where it was just
hmm
him shining as a, and this is where sometimes I think features started to become too much, where features had to start selling the albums. And I saw this interview with Memphis Bleak, and Memphis Bleak was talking about how Jay-Z would do, no, it's either Bleak, I think actually both of them were in it, but it was Memphis Bleak and Freeway. And they were saying how Jay-Z wouldn't get on their singles, but he would get on their album track. Yeah, it was Freeway.
Okay.
How he would get on their album tracks. So like say for instance, What We Do, that wasn't an expected single, but Jay-Z got on that track, and they all, like him and Beans and Freeway, all shined on it. But that
Right.
wasn't the track that sold you to listen to Free. Like you really had to like. I mean, it was like the joint with Beanie Siegel or whatever. Like it got to a point where if you didn't have that right feature on a song, that the track didn't move. And that's what was dope about Raekwon. Raekwon was very seasoned in a sense that, what the first single was Glacier's Ice. That one had Ghost on it, and wasn't Master Killer on that one, I think, too. Mas I think I think Master Killer was on
Yeah,
that one. I have to
Master
look it
Killer.
up, but we'll
Yeah.
get to it. But it was one of those tracks that even though you heard them featured on it, like you knew that this was Raekwon's time to shine. Like you didn't have to
Right.
worry about and then Incarcerated Scarfaces. You know what I'm saying? Like all of these songs were coming out, even though it was Wu-Tang members, it was like, that was Raekwon's quote unquote chamber of getting his shine as far as an artist. So with this song coming out, it was really like you had mentioned it before, it was like Cream, it was like a solo it was solo song of Cream, so
Right.
it was just dope as fuck to me, for lack of better words. What's the next song? Well, you got Rainy Days, I think. Yeah. So
Yeah.
number 6, Rainy Days, featuring Ghostface and your favorite singer, Blue Raspberry.
Mm.
Tell me about this track. How you feel about this one?
It really made me anticipate Blue Raspberry solo album, which never came out, unfortunately.
It came out.
Um,
You didn't get it?
did it?
I'm pretty sure
What
it
was the
did.
name? What was the name of it?
Oh, don't give me the line.
Raspberries and
I don't.
cream.
Is probably Raspberries are Blue. How are you? I don't. You never know. RZA would have put out anything from a Wu-Tang member, man.
It would have. Wow. And come out to 2005 out of the blue. Well, I guess that's not.
Yeah, I'm telling. Look, RZA would put out anything because it's funny too that if you look at this album, the dope part about this album was this is where it started to be too. Even though what's the nigga that used to fuck with Method Man a lot? He was on the Wu-Tang Forever album. Yeah, Street Life. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't really start seeing that. And I like Street Life a lot, and I liked him on the Wu-Tang Forever album. But this was an album even Kappa was introduced to us on this album, but this was an album of just strictly Wu members. If a Wu member was featured outside of Nas, but if a Wu member was featured, it was people that we knew of. It wasn't that we was getting, although Fourth Disciple did some co-production on this album, it wasn't as if we were getting introduced to Killer Sin or any of these Killer Army or any of these other. Yeah, we were getting quality rapper or quality. We were getting a quality of a Wu-Tang album from Raekwon's perspective.
Right. Yeah. So in that vein, I did like Rainy Days. I think when we talked about last week, I did say like I don't think I like it necessarily as much as I did when I first heard it. When first those first few years you listen to only for Cuban Linx. I think it's towards the end though, where they kind of just let the singing go, but they did that on some Wu tracks, like Ghost did it on All I Got Is You with Mary J. But like I
didn't like that one Ghostface track where the nigga did. I forget, it had the whole sample playing through it. What was the name of that shit? I feel like it was on what's the name of that album? But he had the whole sample playing as he was rapping. I thought that shit was terrible.
I can't remember the name. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Though. I can't remember the name of the song, but yeah, like, but no, even now, like, if I put this in, it's definitely like I don't think there's really anything that like I just look at it and say like, oh, I have to skip it, and I don't think like I'd hear this one, I'm like, oh shit, I do remember this joint now, but like probably back in '95 when this album dropped, Wu Gang Beatles was probably my favorite track. Then like I probably I'm looking at the track list and
what's the date of the album drop? I know you had looked it up earlier. What was the date? I can't remember.
August 1st, 95.
Oh, okay. What's the name dropped around then? What's the nigga name? AZ. I feel like he dropped in August too. I remember hooking that CD up for $4. I remember it was right before school. It was either right before school or right when I was like, yeah, I gotta look that up. I feel like it was right around that time. Damn, that nigga dropped around when the Wu dropped. That's crazy.
No, AZ actually said Apple Music says October 10th.
For AZ?
Yeah.
Sugar Hills?
I mean, Do or Die, the album. I don't know.
I mean, Do or Die, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, I realize it's like, okay, maybe I'm wrong.
I'm trying. Yeah, I looked it up again. Like, oh yeah, it says October 10th. That wasn't a bad album. But yeah, Rainy Days is solid to me. Like I was trying to look at the track list and like I think it's. I mean, like I said, this is only built for Cuban Linx. So I mean, I guess that's probably reason gets like classic status because I mean, it's not like there's any completely horrible songs on this album. Like it's not a garbage album. I think Rainy Days is. As far as because I was figuring out I would rank Rainy Days now, but like songs I probably rank over just like songs that I just really, really like. But I could because this is just Raekwon rapping too, right? Yeah, there's nobody else rapping on it.
Ghost on it.
Is it?
I
thought, why? Okay,
Jump back,
yeah. So
ask your bitch. What do you say? Ask my bitch. Some day of lights or something. I can't remember. It's a front of heights or something like that. He was on there
no, yeah,
doing
you're
Ghostface
right.
things.
Yeah, yeah. Nah. But yeah, I like you. What about you?
I like rainy days, man. Like I said, I always equate this or like this is when I was like the whole soul sample and stuff like that. That
Yeah,
this was one of them songs that like if I can say a song that may have influenced Kanye type of things, it'd be like this song or I don't know, Hollow Bones or like those types.
mm,
I feel like that kind of influenced how production was headed to as far as like just grabbing the sample or grabbing the soul sample and flipping it and bouncing it. But
right,
I mean, you mentioned Blue Raspberry. I mean, this conversation reminds me of how Master P felt about Mercedes, and when Charlemagne talked about her, bending over and have her ass on the cover of a CD, and it's like
yeah,
I don't want to get beat up by Ghost and Ray, but I didn't care for Blue Raspberry singing on this song. I liked it subtly, but I didn't like when it towards the end. So
right. Where it just became a main feature, like almost gave her like her own little verse.
you remember Bone Thugs and Harmony? What was that song? And I hated her. Her name I think her name was Shonda Tashonda or something like that. When she was singing on the song, she just kept singing at the end of it. Was it for the love of money?
Might have been. Mm.
No, it's a
Was it Thuggish?
banging
Yeah, I was about to
stars.
say Thuggish Ruggish Bone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thuggish, yeah. And
yeah.
Tashonda. I
Oh
hated that
yeah.
shit.
Oh man, I ain't heard that song in years.
Yeah, you don't need to. You'll be all right.
Uh,
You can skip that one. You can just play for the love of money. That was a great song. Uh,
was, but
but Thuggish Ruggish
overall, like a
Bones is
skip
not needed.
bone.
You
Uh,
say what?
overall, like a skip bone. Like when they do those like one gotta go things, if Bone was ever in there, Bone would be automatic. Like
You
I
take
just see Bone
You
be like
Got Over
Bone.
Bone?
I mean, you talking about you got by himself versus the 4 or 5 MCs and Bone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
I don't think it's too many that I take You Got Over in life. It had to be like Trinidad James or
No,
I don't know.
I, I don't know that. mm, I mean, Bone is just. mm,
Look, hey, you get no arguments from me with I mean, don't get me wrong, I thought Bone was unique, but
That's a good way to describe it.
but the best thing out of Cleveland, even though it's out of Akron, is LeBron.
Oh, I thought you
And,
were gonna say that the Ray guy, Ray, I forgot his last name, Ray something, was a rapper.
I remember Ray. I like that song
I was
too.
gonna say I take if you talking about best Cleveland rappers, I mean I'll take him in the one single. What is it? Ray
Damn.
Cat? Was it Ray Cash?
Ray Cash. Ray
Yeah,
motherfucking Cash. That song was banging. What's
yeah.
the name of that shit? I think it took like I think it took a sample from it was definitely from one of the southern artists. It might have been shit, it might have been UGK. But I can't remember the hook
Was
had the UGK or it was some southern artist that he had grabbed the sample from, but I can't or the hook
it
from.
bumping my music?
Huh?
Was it bumping my music?
No, I wasn't bumping my music. It was another single. Um let's see. I know the title as soon as I hear it. I mean, it was his first single.
I can
I think it's
find.
Sex Appeal.
Mm,
But anyway, yeah, we want to get charged for his music. But but yeah, Raymond Fun Cash. I
mm,
forgot all about him, man. But nah, I used to
yeah,
fuck with him.
best
Uh,
rapper out of Cleveland.
I mean,
I mean, if your only choice is Bone or Ray Cash,
you gotta take Ray Cash.
yeah,
All
Bone,
right. But
Bone
yeah,
is still fight.
as far as rainy days, that's how I feel about that track. Like I said, I thought it was dope. But it was like you said, rating it now as far as how I would compare it to the rest of the album. I probably still put Knuckleheads last. Um, I put it over like number 16 and number 17, I think. Oh,
Yeah,
number 17, number 18, Heaven and Hell, and North Star. North Star, I think it was just talking anyway, but
oh, yeah.
I'll
Real
definitely
quick,
put it over those.
real quick. MC Brains is from Cleveland, so I take MC Brains over Bone. Go ahead.
I'm not taking MC Brains over it. What then
I
he had
am
what's the song
personally.
he had?
Brainstorming,
Nah, it was a song about
brainstorming.
chicks.
Yeah, too.
Oochie coochie
Uh,
la 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 oochie.
yep.
Yeah.
I am the brains and up the car. Yeah,
That's
I'm
better
gonna
than
stick.
Bone?
Yep. That's how much I hate Bone. That's how much I dislike Bone.
Yeah. I
Oochie
mean,
coochie, la la la.
I mean, you can run it on the Notorious Thugs. I thought they was decent, even though I thought the song ran too long. And it's a joint.
I typically
Uh,
cut that song off after Big's verse. I
understood.
did like I did like crazy. What was that Little John joint?
I like them on Spit Your Game. That was my shit. What they did the remix to
Wasn't that just their verses from
Notorious.
what's his face?
Huh?
Wasn't that just their verses from Notorious Thugs?
Nah,
Or maybe it wasn't.
his
Maybe
verse
it,
is totally different. Nah, so
uh,
they took they did use Biggie's verse and
mhm.
then they put Twister on it and Crazy Bone on it.
Oh,
No, nah, but
wow.
Crazy was a lot better. Um,
Crazy is probably the best rapper out of Bone.
I give you that. I go lazy. I probably like lazy more than I like crazy, but he's not as popular. I like Lazy Bone. It was like busy is probably. I didn't like the Uncle Charles nigga, but I don't think that was Wishbone. Um, but yeah, and busy was probably. I probably liked him. I want to say the least, but um,
Crazy Bone is the only one that I could like even tell you one of his bars that I know for sure is crazy.
okay, I see what you're saying. Like distinguishing himself as an artist.
Right.
Now that was
I
dope
mean, not
but that was dope about Wu Tang though. It's like you had 9 members, right? And okay, now here's Raekwon's album, and it's like
right.
you could take that one piece, and we alluded to this that we would expect this type of quality of album to come from Method Man at the time and not from Raekwon. Now we expected
Right.
Raekwon to be dope, but just opening it up and listening to it, it was a whole different vibe. It was just kind of like it puts you in that space. Like I've never sold drugs. I never, was out on the streets or anything like that, pissing in hallways or elevators and shit. Like, but you understood the griminess of the music and you was able to identify with what he's saying without having to do it. Um,
Right.
so that was always, dope to me. But him being in his own lane and his own bag was just dope as fuck. As far as a artist to say, well, these are the RZA beats that I'm going to use for this album. And they're all going
Yeah.
to be kind of within a and like I still don't understand how inspected. I mean, I know you say the flood and all that stuff, but dog, music is music, right? So you hear niggas over like other people, like you hear Inspector Deck over Above the Clouds, or you hear him over, all of the tracks off of the Wu Tang Forever album, and he's just spitting. But then it
Mhm.
got to his album, and it just wasn't it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I don't know what they did.
yeah. So next we got Guillotine featuring Ghostface, Inspector Deck, and Jizza. Um, what's your sentiments on that one?
Yeah, that's all attracted me. I think it was, like production wise and everything. I think it fit for um like if Jizzle was gonna be featured on this album, that this is the beat you would put him on.
Hmm.
I think as always Jizzle's on on point. Um I think we kind of spoke on this like when we first did this podcast. Like I think Master Killer, I think it's almost like Master Killer seems to sound better when Jizz is on the same track as him. And I guess in my mind, sometimes I looked at like like Jizz was like I don't know, like the mentor or the pops to Master Killer,
Hmm.
um, or Master Killer was the I don't know the. I'm not trying to be too disrespectful, but like the second rate Jizza. Like if
Yeah, I
somebody
really,
were to come to you,
that's a good way to explain it. I mean, it's not. I don't think that's against him. I feel like all of the mistakes that Jizza did with his first record or his first album that wasn't a Wu Tang affiliated album, he kind of I feel like he kind of directed Master Killer to not necessarily Master Killer was gonna go down that, like what was it? Well,
right?
that was or Ooh We Love You Rakim, with the RZA and shit like that. But them mistakes from them releasing their first albums, I feel like the Jizza was had it not necessarily pause had his hands on them, but at the same time was like, okay, you rap when I rap because these are the type of beats that I sound good on and you sound good on. So let's just stick with it
Yeah,
from there.
yeah, yeah. But I think
So
that's kind of what this track was. But no, I like the track. I mean, it's there's nothing on this album that I would probably say is a horrible track. And there's songs that like I wasn't maybe necessarily think like if you were to before doing a re-listen, if you would have said to me like, "Hey, what do you think about Guillotine Source?" I'd be like, oh, "What's that?" And then I go and listen to it. I was like, "Oh yeah, that shit was dope too." Like even just scrolling through this playlist, I'm like I said, the last two tracks, Heaven and Hell and North Star, kind of like to me for me the album kind of ends at Wu Gambinos.
yeah, that's
Um,
why I cut it off too. I'm done after that. So
yeah, but like Guillotine, like I look at it as like man, for me, like there's a lot of songs like we're gonna get to this one next. But like I really just like the Can It All Be So Simple remix. Like Ice Water. Um, I've said Wu Gambinos multiple times. Ice Cream kind of just feel like it's like for a single radio friendly feel to it. Incarcerated Scarface's Rainy Days. Guillotine is one of those. It's like it's a dope cut, but it's like there's so many other dope songs on this album. Like this kind of like when you talk about like the when you talk about The Wire
hmm
and you try to rank like 5 seasons, and you can come up with like you can rank them, but it's not like whatever season you put like in that fifth slot. It's not a bad season. It's just that you have to
hmm
rank them. It's not like it's like whatever like the fifth season, like whatever you put in that five slot for The Wire isn't like that was completely trash. And if you were to rank these songs are only built for Cuban Links, like I said, if you take off track 17 to 18, you take a Striving for Perfection, then you're looking at 15 songs. Like if you were to somehow drop this one into like the 12th or 13th slot, which I don't know that I necessarily it might get a little bit higher, but like it's not like even if you get it to 10, it's not like it's in the 10th slot because it's trash. It's just 'cause, like the other 9 songs above it are
are
like
just that much better. Yeah.
right, yeah.
And
So
and that they became your favorite. Like this track to me reminds me of true Wu Tang. Like
yeah,
if RZA was on this, or like it felt like even if like you guy was on this, right? Like it's that
yeah,
palette that's very reminiscent to what they was coming off of in the Wu Tang. So
right,
it
yeah,
kind of gives the Wu Tang feel still, but yet you're still in this cinematic approach to an album from Raekwon's and Ghostface perspective. So
yeah, yeah.
it's a dope track, but as you said, it doesn't necessarily have to be highlighted as the best song on the album. But that doesn't mean like it's not one of the better songs that Wu-Tang has ever created. So
Right. Yeah.
so well, cool. But you had mentioned Can It All Be So Simple? How do you feel about this one?
Man, I really like this one, man. I don't know, like it's like the beat to it, kind of open up like, yo, son, I'm the shot. Yo, take this to the God's house, take this. I ain't
You
gonna make it. I
bleeding,
ain't gonna make
son.
it. You bleed, son.
Bad, son.
Bad. Yeah, like, and then you just open with like, man, I don't remember the lyrics like you be remembering them, but like you just open with Ghost rapping like, check what happened out of state,
Mhm.
like, like beat, like this is, like I probably like this. Not probably. I do like this better than the original version, which
I'm
was
with
on
you on that. The energy on this
yeah,
one was better. I mean, even though they had a
yeah,
video for the other one, the energy on this one was better, and I feel like the lyrics was a little bit. I feel like they was riding the beat. Yeah, I mean, it depends on how
yeah,
you listen to songs, but I feel like they was riding the beat more on that one, like just going along with the beat. Whereas this one, they was showcasing their lyrics,
yeah.
so it
Like
sticks out a little bit more. So
yeah, you could mess around and get me. You could mess around and get me to say like this might be my favorite track on the album. Like, um, like I keep coming back to Weekend Beaners. I think just for the posse cut that it is. But if
mhm.
like this is probably in my top. Like looking at the track listing right now, uh, this is probably my top three. Like it's probably as I'm looking at it, and I just think about like the years of listening to this album.
Hmm.
Uh, this is probably number two. And if I just go there like Wu Gambinos, I'm really rocking with it because of the just the posse cut. Like I really like Mess verse on here. Actually, you
Hmm.
know what? As I'm looking at it now, like I probably go ahead and go. Can it all be so simple? Being my favorite track on here because I
Hmm.
was RZA's verse on Wu Gambinos. I'm gonna say that I'm about to penalize Wu Gambinos for RZA's verse. Um,
The super, what is
so
that? The super exquisite imperial is the Rizzo back to pay your ass a visit on some
yeah,
biochemical universal giant, the black general, licking shots like David Crockett on the bicentennial. It's like, what the fuck?
yeah, that's like we'll talk about more about RZA's verses when we get to that one. But yeah, I think as I'm scrolling through it now, right now, today on June 15th, um, Can It All Be So Simple Remix is my favorite track off this album. Now this might change tomorrow, June 16th, but right now, this is my favorite track off of the album because
that,
I'm penalizing Wu Gambinos for RZA.
that was hard for me to say. If I had to say my favorite track, I'm looking at it too now. Um, Honestly, just the energy of it, I might go Glaciers of Ice just because of, for one, it was unexpected for me,
Yeah,
this type of single from them. But I was so into that song, and it was like an energetic vibe that with them coming out, or Raekwon coming out, and Ghost as well. But them coming out, and
yeah,
like I said, it
yeah.
was surprised me. I was like, damn, like because I knew I always liked Wu Tang, coming. I mean, all the way back to '93, but hearing them, because which at this point in time you had what you had or not Ghost, we had um you
I'm about
got
the solo
Meth,
joints.
yeah, Meth, Oh
Dirty.
Dirty, and that was it, right? Yeah,
Yeah, that
because
was
Genius
it.
I think
Yeah,
came out in October or
yeah,
October, November, one of the two. I know he
yeah,
came out. They came out the same day as Goody Mob for some reason,
oh, yeah.
but I just remember those two albums. And don't get me wrong, I mean, we all love, Bring the Pain and All I Need remix and Ooh Baby, I Like It Raw, Shimmy Shimmy Ya, Brooklyn Zoo is one of my favorite tracks. But when this came out, it was just like, okay, I want to hear everything else. And then like you had, like I said, on the flip side, you had Criminology on that single, and Criminology was just like dope as fuck to me too. So it was kind of like I was like that. So I really hold high regards to those two songs, even though, um,
Hmm.
whenever I'm looking at the track list now, and I'm like, okay, the first songs I will listen to if I'm like, oh, I want to hear a certain song off of this album, I'll probably go to Glaciers of Ice first, and then
Okay,
I probably go to Incarcerated Scarface second.
makes sense. Makes sense.
So with shark biters, how do you feel about like when they were talking all of the things associated with big and stuff like that?
Man, I think later on, I think it was probably after Bigger Pass. I saw an interview with Math on MTV, and Math when he was like, man, he's talking about Ghost Ray. He's like, man, them niggas just don't like anybody, and that's how I ended up just taking it. Like I don't, man, I think Ghost and Ray, like I don't, man, Nas was their boy. Like I think Wu Tang like just had a thing with. I probably more, but I don't even like a competitive thing with Bad Boy. Like I think Bad Boy was like the antithesis of what they were,
Hmm.
like with the like the shiny stuff and all of that, and
And
just
they were
like
just
the
grimy
pop
and dirty.
single. Yeah, so I think like I don't. I just look at it as like, man, it was man that little competitive nature, just going for probably who was your like you talking about East Coast and all of that. If you want to talk about who was winning, who was the best coming out the East Coast, like Biggie was probably like your main competition, and with him being like the antithesis of what you were, because like you can make the argument that Nas was too, but Nas was more in their vein or whatever. But
Hmm.
you want to talk about, like you said, you trying to do that grimy style and everything like that. Bad Boy was coming out with a polished sound and all that. That man, you was probably seeing like you were kind of seeing like the wave shifting. Because
Hmm.
like I said, Wu dropped in '93, and Big came in '95. So like, I mean, to me, it's just entertaining. I know that some people like, cause I mean, I'm at this point, like I'm at a point in life now, like where like this kind of stuff, especially now, I won't take something like this too seriously. I
Hmm.
know there's probably some people that's like our age who still like probably
People
hate,
take the stuff that
probably,
they say and make that they rule in life, and I hate that.
yeah, like they
Like, oh
probably
well,
hate Biggie.
Raekwon didn't like Big, I don't like Big, or it was like, or
Yeah,
Tupac didn't like Big, or I didn't like Big. It was like, or Raekwon or Nas got a 5 mic, so that's a classic album to everybody, or
right.
Ether beat Super Ugly, so Nas won, or it's just like
Yeah.
make a decision. I remember one time. This is I think he was there. I can't remember. I know Feek was there and Tone was there. I can't remember. I think he was there, but I can't remember. But
Okay.
yeah, because Darius is there when I graduated and shit. And
Oh
it
yeah.
was like it was a weird ass argument. This chick, we was outside of some little house party, and this chick was like, "Oh man, what she say?" She said, and this was like the whole Nas and Jay-Z, and she was saying how she's like, "Man," she said, "Man, Reasonable Doubt was whack." And I was like,
Yeah,
name
I
me three
remember
songs
that.
that wasn't singles. And she like, I feel like if I'm gonna say something is whack, I've did my due diligence to like be like, nah, especially if it's somebody that I like. Like,
Yeah.
I'll tell you tracks off of. I mean, I've probably forgotten them now, but I'll tell you tracks off of Nostradamus that I didn't fuck with, and I thought it was just terrible. But I'm not
Yeah.
gonna tell you that the Nostradamus album is whack and not be able to, justify, whether people say it came down to bootlegging and stuff like that, or even similar to that with I Am. But all that being said, she was like, "Yeah, the Jay Z the album was whack." I was like, "Well, why was it whack?" And she's like, "It just wasn't that good of an album." I was like, "So like, name me three tracks that's not singles." It's like because I could easily. I mean, I'm a fan of Jay Z and Nas, but I can easily like you don't have to be a fan of you could be a fan of Nas and be a fan of Jay-Z. Same thing with Tupac and Biggie. Like
Yeah.
even when
Yeah.
when Hit 'em Up came, I remember hitting you up and saying, "Hey, look, they got the tape at warehouse. I can get it for you and I can send it to you." Da da da. But because back then we was kind of shifting to CDs. Anything anyway,
Right.
like it was just kind of like yeah, it was music. It was like we didn't want Jay or Biggie and Pac to beef, but with them beefing, it was music that we was being introduced to. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't like we had where we can just go online and listen to it like that anyway. So it's
Yeah.
almost like okay, well, cool, I get it, I ship it to you, da da da, or I bring it home whenever like all that stuff, and I don't know, man. It's like people take things that people say and then they make that they take people's
We
opinions and make them into facts.
yeah, man. We yeah, music consumers, man. Like we allow like the personal feelings of rappers. Like some people allow them to like help them make decisions about things. Like I don't like if it's dope, if it's dope to where I like it, then I like it. Like the Drake and Kendrick beef, like I've preferred Kendrick over Drake even before the beef. But
Mhm.
throughout that battle, there were a couple tracks where Drake dropped some songs. I was like, oh, he probably got Kendrick. And
Mhm.
then Kendrick come back, and then finally Kendrick, I think had to knock out
Put the
blow
nail in
with
the
like
coffin. Yeah.
yeah, just because it
Mhm.
was about. But like, and even now, like, if and also it's like for Drake, like uh, I honestly like Drake's first album. What was it Take Care?
Mhm.
Um, I was cool with Take Care. Also, after this, like, it's not too many. And the argument of Drake, I know kind of getting sidetracked a little bit here. I know one of the arguments against Drake is that like Drake doesn't have a classic. And I don't know, some people point to no, it was no Take Care. It wasn't because Take Care is that the one with
That was the first album.
was it okay? Yeah, so I'm thinking about the
No,
one
no,
where he
no.
was.
Take Care is the second album.
Yeah, so whatever the first one, I'm thinking about the first one. I can't think of what the first
Yeah, I
one
like that
was.
one. What's the name of that
I,
shit? I mean, because I'm trying not to, because it's so far gone was the
let
mixtape,
me,
quote
yeah,
unquote. But damn,
it
one day it's
was it
all
You'll
the
Thank Me
same.
Later?
Thank me later. Yeah, that's
Thank,
it. Yeah.
yeah, so like that one I like, but after that, man, like I can pick songs off of certain Drake albums that I really like, but I
Mhm.
can't tell you um like views might have been the closest
I
for
like
me.
Views. Yeah, I like
Um
Views. I
yeah,
like the
but
one
like
that was that the double album?
no, I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember it.
Okay.
Um
I definitely like the double album, but I mean, but I think Drake makes music just I think Drake literally makes music for his fans, and the majority of his fans are women. So
yeah,
even with that double album, like there was, and this we jump back to the Raekwon shit, but even with the double album, it was half like hip hop and half R&B.
yeah,
So of course, I gravitated towards the hip hop part of it.
right.
So and
Yeah,
I
and that
didn't gravitate towards the R&B because
right,
I don't like 40 as not to say I don't like him as a producer. I like Drake over more up tempo tracks, and 40's production is more of a chill type of
right.
production.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying about Drake. Like I don't, even though like Kendrick got the best out of him, got the best of him in this beef or whatever. If Drake were to drop a banger right now, I'd listen
Still go
to it.
hit.
And that's
Yeah,
yeah, and
still go
that's
hit.
all to
Yeah.
say that. Yeah, that's all to say that. Like man, especially now that I'm older, almost 50. Like I tell people, man, for one, um music is subjective. You like what you like. Like
Yep.
it's not like there you know me, there's certain kind of rap that like I probably gravitate towards. Like I'll probably gravitate towards stuff. You gotta have a decent beat, so I'm gonna gravitate to some more soulful stuff. I like stuff with horns.
Hmm.
They Reminisce Over You is probably like probably one of my favorite songs of all time. Like I've over the past couple years, I've said like, man, I want the instrumental to when I die, if there's a funeral, I want They Reminisce Over You to be like the instrumental that's played at my
Hmm.
funeral. But I'm also a Joe Budden fan. But like I also know these things are like subjective. Like I tell people like you talk about late 90s groups, Mobb Deep is my favorite group. I
Hmm.
say that, but I know Outkast musically was the better group. But
Hmm.
like, man, you like what you like, and
Yeah, and
that's
that's okay.
like,
No, I
yeah,
told you Jay Z's favorite rap. I mean Jay Z. Jay, my nephew, he said his favorite rapper was Chameleon there, and I was just like, all right, well, shit, nigga, you like Chameleon there, then fuck it, shit. One like
yeah,
Chameleon there was whack, but it was just weird. But I looked at that from like a demographic and age and who you're targeting, and um,
hmm
Chameleon there to me was just he. In my opinion, I still see Chameleon there as a young rapper, but
yeah,
but that's just how I see it. But I still see Jay Z as Jay Z, even though he's an older rapper. I see Nas as Nas. I don't see them as
yeah,
older rappers. But
hmm
you'll see younger cats be like, oh, we don't listen to Nas. We don't listen to Jay Z. We listen to Migos, or we listen to Playboy Cardi, or we listen da da da, and that's okay. Like, look,
The Mexican.
fuck it, that's your lane.
Because if you take dudes who graduated, like, and my brother Raymond probably isn't, because Raymond was like 18 years older than me, so he wasn't necessarily in this category. But if I were to take like, if there's somebody that's 10 years older than me that grew up like
That nigga favorite
Run
rapper is
DMC,
probably Cool Ski Rock.
yeah, like was probably rocking with Run DMC, and like for
Grandmaster,
us,
Grandmaster
yeah,
Jello G or something.
yeah, and we like, man, I don't listen to like Cool Mo D, like man, I don't rock with Cool Mo D like that. But
Mhm.
like I remember Raymond was rocking with Cool Mo D. How you like me? That's Wild Wild West. Like,
I thought he got a
dog, if
good
you,
part of LL. Like, besides LL popularity, like Kumo D
yeah,
was in that ass. Pause. So
yeah, and it's like you said, some of this is generational. Like, I think rap for the most part was always like a young person's game before like your consumers were young people, and I
mhm.
think some of that was like in some ways it feels like our generation is the first generation that probably grew up damn near entirely on hip hop. Like
Yeah.
since we were kids, like if you're talking about like I said, LL and Kumo D, if you're talking about they were like 85, 86, we were like 8 or 9 at that time.
Mhm.
Like if you look at the generation before us, like rap was just kind of getting introduced. Like we might not totally rock with Run DMC, but we remember Run DMC. We
Yeah.
remember Walk This Way.
Yeah.
Like so we kind of grew up on it. So that I think like whereas Run DMC didn't age that well because I think their fan base probably shifted away from rap. Like all we know rap. Like me, I should say myself like that's just really what I know. Like I stopped really rocking with R&B probably the early 2000s. I respect it. I'll still listen to it, but it's a lot of stuff like it'll be times like when they would do those verses like Mariah Carey's that one joint, We Belong Together. I
Mhm.
remember when it first came out. Man, when I heard her, whoever produced it, put it on the verses, I was like, dang, this was dope. Well, I was probably like 10 years late on that song. But that's all to say, like, I think so for us, Jay-Z and Nas and some other rappers, they've been able to age and still rap and still have some level of success because now because we grew up on hip hop, so we're still looking for that. Like, and
Mhm.
we're not gonna get into like maybe these younger rappers like Migos or Sexy Red or Glorilla. Like, we'll listen to some of it, but like, man, we ain't in the club for Glorilla. Now we understand her appeal,
Mhm.
but like for me, like I'm gonna listen to the Killer Mike album before I'm gonna listen to the Glorilla album. But the Killer
Understood.
Mike album is for somebody that's almost 50. Not exclusively for me, but it's gonna appeal to me
I mean,
more than like a Glorilla
that
album.
nigga almost 50 got to be around there. So I mean, it's a
Yeah, so
demographic that he targeting. So
yeah, so we like, and I don't even know how I got on that, but I think as we've grown up because we kind of grew up with rap being like the main music genre for us, like all the rappers, we've aged with rappers like Jay-Z, Nas, and all them. Like we've grown up with them, so we still like as long as they can still do something solid. And like I said, I've said I think Nas like this stretch that he's been on with Hit Boy, to me is probably like the best run of his career.
yeah.
Um, And so like, but man, Run DMC couldn't have done that. And that's no disrespect to Run DMC. Like LL could do it to a degree,
Hmm.
but like, man, we like
What about Raekwon
LL
doing?
Raekwon.
Yeah.
Mm, See, I mean, the problem is Raekwon has only built for Cuban Links, and he has some of the Wu stuff. But
Mhm.
Raekwon by himself, like, I would probably make the argument more that Ghost,
Oh, Ghost can definitely get a run, and
yeah,
Ghost has
Ghost
had runs. So
Yeah, Ghost could get a like even like you said, if Ghost were to like link up with a producer and like you said, he's done it, but if Ghost right now were to link up with somebody, Raekwon probably could. I just
I don't think he has a
it's
vision to do it. I feel like
Yeah, there you go.
Nas
Yeah,
had it where
yeah,
Nas wasn't. It was at one point in time he was talking about Nas didn't know how to pick beats. It's like
yeah,
Raekwon don't know, not to say that he don't know how to pick beats. He
I don't,
I don't want to say he don't know how to take direction, but I feel like you do like a Raekwon and Alchemist album, right?
yeah,
Raekwon and Alchemist, I think that'd be dope as fuck.
right.
Or like what's the name? Even though I'm not a huge fan of him, what's the nigga that died? Um, Mob Deep,
Prodigy.
Prodigy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Prodigy knew how to make like
yeah,
a good quality out, like all independent, but they were all sounding pretty good. Like I said, I'm not a
yeah.
huge Prodigy lyrical fan, but he knew how to make
Hmm.
those quality albums.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't, like I said, I don't think Ray. 'Cause I think if you look at Ray's solo albums, I don't know if there's anything outside of Mobility and Only Built for Cuban Links too. But if you just look at those two albums, like you said, whether it's the direction not knowing what to do, Ray ain't really Ray. Like if I say Ray can't do it, it's just because I'm looking at like
I know
I
you're
don't
looking
know
at
that.
his track record. It's just like looking
Yeah.
at Lauren Hill or looking at Most Def or
Hmm.
like none of these are like we know how talented they are, but they weren't able to give us. I mean, they were able to give us black on black on both sides, or they was able to
Yeah.
give us Miseducation to Lauren Hill, or they was able to give us Only Built for Cuban Links, but they just weren't able to follow that up with anything
Exactly.
that was that quality. People will, and this is why I tell you that revisionist theory, as far as people thinking that and just because they're dope artists, they'll tell you, well, this most that I forgot the name of the second album, but like the album one like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or Lauren Hill's well shit, the only next album was that Unplugged album. So we don't want to talk about that and disparage her lateness. But then you got like Immobiliarity and like I said, Only Built for Cuban Links too. It's just like sometimes with timing, sometimes with quality of music, and like you can listen to, not to say if RZA was the chief driver behind this, but I just remember with Immobiliarity, the RZA, I don't even remember, I don't think he did even a track on there, if I remember correctly. Like if he did anything, it was no more than like one or two. But sometimes let somebody else take the wheel, whether it's Jesus or whether it's Alchemist. But
Jesus.
right. So how do you feel about Ice Water?
Uh, I like Ice Water. I do. Like Ice Water is I think it's a short track. I think it's under 3 minutes. Um but I do. I like Ice Water. I think it's is that the
It's
I'm
the
in here
one
on
with
Rockin' Niggas.
yep.
Boom,
Hmm.
boom. Yeah, yeah. I like the beat.
Ah,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
ah.
like that. Yeah, I like that. That's underneath the beat and everything. Like,
Mhm.
nah, and it's just like it's under 3 minutes. I think I made a playlist one time with songs that were 3 minutes or under, and this made the cut. And like, uh, no, I really like this song. Like,
Yeah, that was my first introduction to Kappa, so I thought
oh
that was
yeah,
dope.
Sean was, yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so,
Sean enough was, yeah,
so I definitely fucked with that one, even though I'm not a huge Kappa fan, but yeah, that was definitely the introduction to him on the album. Um, so verbal intercourse.
Well, you skip Glaciers of Ice.
Oh, my bad. Oh shit, my bad.
Yeah,
Skip
the
Glacier
joint
Ice.
you was just
Yeah, I gotta talk about
raving
that. That,
on.
that was that was so I'll jump right into my spill on Glacier Ice. I really like this song a lot. The energetic feel of it. Like I say, I even like Master Killer on this song.
Yeah,
Like I said, Master Killer wasn't whack, but he just wasn't like a Master Killer. And I think he did end up dropping a solo album maybe a few years ago. Um, but if there was any artist off of the nine, like he would probably be second to last behind You Got as far as like a solo album. But that
that's
track,
fair.
we'll talk about the track and we leave it at that. The track was dope as fuck, energetic, made you pay attention. The video, I remember it was very like, and I remember they were wearing the the Wallies in this and they were talking about it too.
Yeah, the
Um,
skip before.
yeah, so it's kind of like
Ooh, you down?
look down,
Ooh,
Bull
you see the
Street.
crib?
Um,
Ooh,
you know,
nigga, they gonna know.
right. So it was like that was dope. Like I made bad purchases in my life, and Wally's was one of them at the time. That I was like, "Ooh, Wally's." They talking about Wally's. I like Wally's, and ordered 3 pair from Sibley's, and ran up my little $1,000 credit card. It was like $170, one in the US yet. But I just remember it was a total like five, like it was like 610 or something like that on a $1,000 credit
Yeah,
card. And all them niggas gave me was a free t-shirt. Y'all fucking credit card
yeah,
niggas
boy.
in front of your dorms
Yeah.
and businesses and
First
shit.
week of class.
Yep.
Yeah.
So a nigga, and all it was for really a free T-shirt and shit. It wasn't like at least these niggas give you points now or something like that. Like these niggas just like, yeah, wear a free T-shirt to advertise us again. But
Hey, you know what was the benefit of being fat? Like,
you didn't get the
like
free T-shirt.
you weren't going for the free T-shirt because you was like, you ain't gonna have it in my size. So that was never your motivation to apply for. I don't even know if I ever. I don't even know if I applied for credit cards on campus. It wasn't a lot
Mhm.
because my fat ass wasn't gonna wear the T-shirt. So
All
we
right.
was.
So what's your sentiments on Glacier Ike?
Uh, no, I like it. I
That nigga's
like
like,
it.
man, fuck these credit cards,
Right.
nigga. Like, I
I'm
can't
like,
do
I'm
no,
cool.
can't do no with
Yeah.
this whole ass T-shirt.
They're looking at me like, hey, free T-shirt. Do I look like I could fit into that T-shirt? Man,
It's like,
I'm
nigga, fuck
about
you.
to go in
Fuck
this
y'all
bookstore
T-shirt.
and buy some books. Nah, Glaciers of Ice though. Nah, I liked it. Like I think about the little screaming in the back. I don't know if it's necessarily screaming, but
Mhm.
like
It
you'll see.
might have been Blue Raspberry.
That's
You
what I
never
was trying to
know.
think as I was in my head. I'm like, that might have been Blue Raspberry. Uh, but no, I like you said. I think because I think when I looked this up, I think this was. Yeah, I just looked it up at the beginning of this podcast. It I think this might have been the B side. I think it said, "Oh yeah, it was Blue Raspberry on background vocals." Um,
I knew it. I knew that. I knew she was singing on it.
yeah, but I think it said it was the it was the B side to Heaven and Hell. They said,
Oh, really? Glaciers of Ice was?
yeah. It just like I'm trying to get back to it. It said,
I mean, Heaven to Hell came out on the what's the name soundtrack?
yeah,
Is
because
it
they
Fresh?
yeah. So here in Wikipedia, they're saying that like the first single was Heaven and Hell, which dropped October 24th, 1994. And and it makes reference to it being for the first soundtrack. Um
Oh no, that shit was definitely not the first single for the Raekwon album, unless
but
they
no,
just dropped that shit in New York.
that's what they're saying.
No, that's
I think they're saying it, and it's like because it was on the album, but they're saying Glaciers of Ice was the B side.
but
Um,
Criminology was a B side of
no,
Glaciers.
no, 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 no. Wait, no. I was on my Fantasia. You're right. Criminology was the second single, and Glaciers of Ice was the B side, which is I think why I end up linking those songs together all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but because I'm with you. Like I feel like Criminology then was really the true. I get what they're trying to go at is,
Mm-hmm.
but like that was like a full 6 months. No, that was October. That was probably like
Yeah,
seven
whole
months for
damn
the
year
album even
almost.
dropped. Yeah,
Yeah.
so like I feel like Criminology was the first single, and then you get Glitches of Ice as the B side. Um, but
But
no,
Criminology have a video?
mm,
I remember the Glaciers of Ice video, but I don't remember Criminology having video.
let me see. Uh, uh, I guess I have to put Raekwon Criminology because apparently I get like college courses with videos.
That's funny.
Uh, yep, it did. Yeah, they did.
Hmm.
They did. Yeah, apparently so.
I gotta go
That's
back. I'll
fine.
watch that shit later, but I did not know it was a video for Criminology.
Yeah,
I don't remember it at least.
but yep, and then oh yeah, now I'm kind of seeing a clip from the Glaciers Rice video, and I see that ghost kind of black and white.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but no, I think it was, and I don't know. I think you were saying this about Glaciers Rice before we actually got to it, but like it was like you heard it and it made you.
It was it's almost like I would compare that to Heaven's Sake on on the Wu-Tang Forever album, like where you just hear it's like don't it's the
Yeah,
Wu peeping through your shadow. Like it was just automatically like you just go listen to it whether you liked it or you didn't. It was just one of them
yeah,
type of songs, like to see where the song was going, like chaotic, just a lot of energy, like that. That's what I get from that song.
yeah. I was about to say that's how I was thinking about Daytona 500 with that as
That
well.
one too, yeah, yep, same
But I
vein.
think, yeah, but I think this like you said, this was the same. Like it's in that same vein of that. Like you just, and it made you anticipate like the album. Like,
Hmm.
all right, what's Ray about to come with? Uh, yeah, because if you're talking about Criminology and Glacier Rise being like the first two videos you're seeing, yes, you thinking about seeing those two videos, and you like, okay, damn, this might be a good album.
Hmm.
Like, this might be something.
Hmm. So, what about verbal intercourse?
Um, I like verbal intercourse. I know, when we did this the first time around, I mentioned it like, I think we talked about like maybe it's the sequence or maybe it doesn't fit the like it's a dope song, but like
Where it was put at on the album doesn't the placement of it on the album. Like I said,
yeah,
it's one of those like it's a dope song, but like where do you put it within the?
yeah,
If you put it, if you put it
that's
before, I don't know, ice cream or something like that. But I was because I was gonna say if you put it after Wu Gambino's, but I would say it have to be before Wu Gambino's,
yeah,
just because of the energy of the track from them from the whole crew rapping together. But honestly, if you had took off um, having a Hell or North Star, I wouldn't be mad if you said, well, since we got to take these off, we got to put verbal in the court. Like it'd be out of order. But
yeah,
I'll say this one dope part about that song when I first heard it, when I was first listening to the album. You know, the first thing we looked for, in my opinion, like back in the day, to see who produced on it. So we knew RZA had produced all on it. So I wasn't even paying attention to the track listing. Very similar to how I listened to the Ready to Die album. Like I remember listening to the Ready to Die album, and then like, oh shit, that's a different voice. Like who is that? Oh, that's Method Man. Like what the fuck?
yeah,
Like track 8. So like when I first heard this, I remember listening. I was like, oh shit, that's Nas.
right.
And Nas featured on them. Like it was this, the Mob Deep joint.
Yep, eye for an eye.
Um, yeah, so it's kind of like we had a hunger for these particular verses from Nas at the time because this was all after Illmatic and how much that
Yeah,
blew up. So that was what, in my opinion, drove this song. Ray and Ghost verses are okay. I mean, are good, but it just Nas made their verses seem like mad okay. Um,
yeah,
if this song was like on a, this song was on, it was written, I wouldn't be
mm,
mad.
right.
I think it made it was written that much more of a
Better.
better album.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I mean, like I said, sequencing could have thrown us off a little bit, but I still think it's a solid track, and I wouldn't take it
yeah.
off the album. So
Nah. Like you get this verse from Nas. Like so you got to put it on your album, regardless
literally
of
one of
how
his
it might
best verses
sequence
ever.
up.
So
Yeah, so you gotta you gonna find a way for it. Like, look, if you figured out where you gonna put knuckleheads at, if
hmm.
if you gonna put knuckleheads on, because you was like, hey man, we gotta get you guys some shine.
Hmm.
Oh, then you definitely gotta put this one on there. Like you said, you can't have this be made in your studio session and then let Nas take it for his album.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, you like Nas, we keeping this one. Like we, which is interesting. What I'm thinking about is like everybody always talks about, and I don't know how much I agree with it. Everybody talks about how like Eminem ate Jay on his own album on his own track.
Hmm.
I mean, Nas did it here to go some right. We don't never hear that. Like, and like you
We
said,
only
Ghost and
we
Ray's
only hear,
verses
but
weren't horrible.
dog, we only hear that when it comes from their perspective.
Yeah,
Like, and that's just what it is. I mean, like, and I honestly, I don't like even like not to steer the conversation in a different direction. But I felt that was Jay at his best. I felt that was Eminem at his best. Um,
Mhm.
and ironically, I relate to the Jay verse more as
Right.
far as a person rather than
Yeah.
the stuff that Eminem was talking about. So, and then I mean, because you get people say, "Oh, you can't listen to Eminem in the club." It's like, well, Eminem is not a club rapper. So when you
Nah.
hear him on certain things, it kind of, it's dope lyrics. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I felt like when Nas said that on Ether, it was kind of like, okay, now we're going to take that as, as fact. And it's
Gospel.
fine. Like if that's your opinion, then fine. But I'm not going to argue with and say, like this verse is better than the other one. Like I said, I like the shock value of the Eminem's verse, but
Right.
when I go back and listen to it, as far as the quality of the way the lyrics are structured, I'm going with Jay. So,
Yeah.
but so how do you feel
Definitely.
about Wisdom Body?
It's good. I feel like I was just feeling this by all these tracks. I'm trying to remember how Wisdom Body went now.
That was the
Um,
Ghostface solo joint.
what's, I know I liked it. I'm trying to remember how it went though.
I grab it. What do you say?
Oh,
I grab your
yeah,
head.
yeah,
I grab your head and I show you where to put it at towards his.
yeah, yeah. Now I remember. And then I just clicked it for a quick second. And that's when I was like, "Oh, bitches is hoes, man."
Yeah,
Like,
just like
yeah,
just like my
yeah,
hoes. I keep them broke, keep them getting money. They subject to go crazy.
yeah. Nah, yeah. This joint, yeah. And I forgot this was Ghost's little solo joint
No,
out
no
here.
dough. When I get a
Yeah,
bitch, I got a bitch.
I do like. I mean, I really like the production on this album. This is one where, like, I just like. I think for lot of this, like, it was the lyrics were solid, but the production was like just as dope to me. And
Hmm.
so, like, some of these songs, and that's as I'm thinking about Wisdom Body, like, I think about the beat, like even like Ice Water that,
Hmm.
like, and I think the joint that's coming after that, like the Spot Rushes. But yeah, no, it was a dope track to me, and I think even like you were saying, said at the top with the cinematic theme of it. I
Hmm.
think this is another one. Like you think about like the skit before this one, well before the song, like where he's talking about give him no money, but
Hmm.
we saw that with
No dough.
yeah, like it's all the skit where they're not fit like they're embedded within the track, so they're not called out separately. But like you had it with
It'd have
Glaciers
been
of Ice
too many
talking about the
tracks if they did that.
Wallabies,
That shit would have
man.
pissed me off if it was goddamn 23 or
The
24 tracks on this.
And the only argument I make being okay with it, like, is now, like, and I'm just thinking about now, like when you're making a playlist when I'm going on Apple Music and
Hmm.
you like, man, and it's probably like less for only built for Cuban Links than it is like other artists who have done this. Like, because I don't necessarily mind these short little skits on the
Nigga,
only built for
DJing,
Cuban
nigga,
Links.
that shit is fucking annoying, nigga.
Yeah, that's what.
I got
Yeah, so you
into the track like 30 or 40 seconds and then mark my
got.
Serato to make sure that it starts right there. Like, no, that shit is fucking exhausting. No,
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, man, it would be dope if they were to like on a remaster of these albums, if they were to break them up. And I don't know how that would work from a mastering standpoint or remastering standpoint, but
mhm,
like, cause like there's songs like you like even on Wu Gambinos, like it's cool with them talking, "Why get your
yeah,
mom
too
big
much talking
aliens
at
off
the
the
beginning.
table, man." But if you could just take me to the beat dropping, like doom doom doom, like
Hmm.
I'd be cool with that, and I think. And I don't even know how kind of, but like for the most part, or like you only built for Cuban. Like for me, can it all be so simple to remix? I probably want that because it's just like, oh, you shot, you bleeded bad. Like
Hmm.
you just sit like the Wallaby joint talking about the Wallabies before was the Glaciers of Ice, and even here, like it's just funny the little skip before it.
Hmm.
Um, but some of it would be nice if probably Wu Gambino ones, probably, which I found the Wu Gambino ones entertaining. I feel like it just goes too long.
Yeah.
Um, Whereas these other ones, I don't think they go long. Um, but
What about spot rushers?
I, I like. I know I like it. I'm trying to remember how it went.
That was Raekwon joined all by
Yeah.
himself. Line for line, line for line. This is how we get down. Doom, doom, doom. Line for line, line for line. This is how we get down.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is another skit. Oh yeah. This was the joint had didn't this had a St. Ives commercial kind of playing in the
Yep.
background?
Background. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Um. Actually,
I mean, I like this song. I thought it was
I
very
do.
short and sweet. It's probably about after guess maybe like a minute and a half with him just actually rapping.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's a dope track. It's good that like I said, Raekwon can shine by himself or he can shine with somebody else on it. Like if
Mm-hmm.
Ghost was on this song, I wouldn't. I think it would
You mad?
make it a two verse. Actually, I think he might actually snuck in like two verses, but I gotta go back and listen to it. But Ottoman said it was like because it was no hook on this one, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ottoman said it was like a nice song leading into ice cream. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
That's great.
yeah.
Nah.
How you feel about this one?
Okay. I mean, I really like ice cream. I think like this was the
Oh,
like you
spot
look at
rushes, spot rushes.
spot rushes. No,
Hmm.
I did. I like spot rushes. Like like I said, there's a handful of songs on here that like I just like short as hell.
Hmm.
And like you were just saying, like if you put it, if you take out the little opening skit, it's probably like a couple minutes, maybe a minute and a half, couple minutes. And man, in some ways, I almost feel like Raekwon, like, oh, when they put this album together, they maximized the real estate as far as just like, hey, you only got like 3 minutes to get off what you want to say.
Yeah.
And
I
I
mean,
think,
you brought up a great point, and I'm thinking about that now. The fact that, say, for instance, if it's a long skit, that the song was short.
yeah,
So it wasn't as if like you said maximizing the real estate. Like it still wasn't. It was still maybe 2.5 minutes at
right,
most 3 minutes, even with the skit.
yeah,
In some of them circumstances. So no, that's a great observation. I didn't even think about that until now because, like I said, Spot Rushers was definitely just one long. It was no hook at all. It was just him
yep,
rapping. But
yeah,
you had the skit in between that with the St. Ives stuff. So
yeah. And I think that's just, I think this, like, I think this is like spot rushers. I think wisdom body. I think ice water. Um, maybe even glaciers of ice to a degree. Oh, glacier ice was actually 5 minutes and 20 seconds, but you take that skit. That skit was probably about a minute 30, 2 minutes. Like,
no,
um,
but at the end they just let. I mean,
oh,
when
that's right. They just
yeah,
like the beat ride. Yeah,
yeah.
so you
So
probably
it's dope in general, just
yeah.
because like the stuff that you can skip. Like if you want to skip Blue Raspberry singing at the end of it, or if you want to skip, what's that nigga? I think he ended up dying. The nigga that was talking on North Star. We ain't got
What
to
was his
talk about
name?
the
Yeah,
Papa Wu. I think.
yeah. Papa.
Yeah.
Oh man, Papa Wu died. Dang.
Yeah, he died. I can't remember when, but he died a few years ago. I remember it was it might have been in COVID. I can't remember. I gotta look it up. But I know it wasn't like no more than like 10 years ago. I know he died. That's all I
Yeah,
remember. So
2019, December 16th.
yeah,
So probably
so
right around COVID. He was 63 though. And that's not old, but it's not.
that's that God body talk, man.
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah.
85% of talk.
Woo, woo.
So,
Oh, nah. Spot Wretches was solid to me though. Like I think, uh, like I said, going back scrolling through some of this, like a lot of these joints really are like I'd probably say like man outside of Wu Gambino's as the posse track. Like
hmm
of actual like rapping, like you said, you take away like maybe skits at the beginning, and you maybe take away the extended instrumentals at the end of the last verse.
hmm
Man, I feel like most of these joints are probably like no more than three and a half at the
yeah,
most.
you got multiple niggas rapping. So I mean, it
Yeah,
makes sense. It's like if
yeah,
you listen to Wu Tang Forever, of course, every track gonna be at least 3-4 minutes because it's not too many tracks where it was just two people rapping on it at once. It's usually two or
Yeah.
three, so or at least three. So just depends.
Hmm.
So what's your
Yeah.
sentiments on ice cream?
Man, I like ice cream, man. You to me, you look at ice cream as like if, and I don't know what the thought was. Like if you were going in making this album, ice cream was probably the joint that was gonna be your party joint off of this album. The one
Mhm.
that like you could probably see this going. I mean, you're the DJ, of course, but this is one that like even if it went up today, like somebody played it, like if somebody was doing like a '90s hip hop party,
Mhm.
you could I could see where this could get thrown on. Like it's I don't know if it gets that much love like that. Um I think if you were in a New York setting among like New York fans, it probably would, but I don't know if it like overall does. But like I mean I liked it. I think the verses like it's like a radio friendly joint. Like well it was the beat was it was probably as close as you want to get to the Wu trying to give you a pop hit. Um that you were gonna get, but I think it still remained like it was still the Wu Tang sound.
Yeah,
Um
that's my feel. Honestly, if you throw any of the Wu Tang, I mean, it probably been too long because pause that you had Ghost Ray and Cap on there.
but
But if you threw another member on there, I mean, like I said, it'd be too long, but it still work for the Wu. Like if
yeah,
you do, even if you do, you got on there, I'd be okay. Or if you do, RZA probably would have
man, brother
changed.
came with no
But Scooby Snack Giraffe, no, that's Ghost,
nah.
but he'd have been on some
RZA would have came through with some overly
biochemical chemical
85.
giant.
Yeah,
um,
biochemical. Her bikini was made of biochemical, biodegradable material. It slid off her body.
yeah, let me ask you this question: what does it mean? Let's say, I'm lounging, big dick style. Y'all niggas is the flyers. What does that mean, man? Like,
I don't know. You're gonna have to ask Ghost. Was that Ghost or
no,
Ray?
that was
No,
Ray. That
that's
was
Ghost.
Ray.
Was that
But
Ray? We're
but the
gonna have to
thing is,
ask
if you
Ghost.
watch the video, like he's like chilling like this is shit like was it's
Yeah.
like in a it
Um,
was a club setting or whatever. but yeah, I was like, what does that mean? Like I'm
uh,
lounging, big dick style. Y'all niggas is the flyers, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, I
you know,
don't know. Like, I don't know. I
but
don't.
then hey, cannabis was like, at the end of the night, what do you say? What do you say? Y'all niggas can't eat an ass like me or something like
Yeah, that one, man. You be like, yeah, cannabis on. And that would have went over well in the pause era of cannabis. You
Oh shit, those were
you
the
be getting
days.
mad pauses. But I think you threw Meth on the hook here too, which I think was like that. I
That was a
think
smart move. That was
yeah,
you can throw maybe throwing ghosts on because I don't like the overflow of songs of like a nigga like if they got a verse then they on the hook too.
hook
Like
yeah.
that just kind of like even I was listening to a version of um what's that nigga name? Two Chains. It was ASAP song, but Two Chains had a verse to it. He actually did his verse on verses. I didn't realize he had a verse until then. But
Who's that again?
well, Two Chains, but it was a song, ASAP Rocky. But he had a
Okay,
song. I love bad bitches. That's my fucking problem.
yeah. That I
You
was
do
just
me down like
thinking,
a
was that
fucker.
the
That's a
joint?
fucking
Yeah,
problem. But he was saying how
yeah.
that was a whole verse before, but they ended up taking that
Oh,
part,
okay.
making it the hook, and then adding Drake and Kendrick on that song, whatever.
That's right.
But
They were on that joint. Dang,
yep,
got
nah,
that.
niggas be talking all that shit, man. It's like, bro, like these
But they
niggas
got a
had
song
songs.
together
They
on
had songs
Kendrick's
together. They had
album.
the fucking joint with Janet Jackson
Yeah, I
sample.
was gonna say they had that joint there. Like they, well, yeah,
I mean, Drake said it. I gave you your first number one single. I mean, but people didn't pay attention to that. But
yeah. I do
it
remember he said
is
that. Yeah. But I think that's how Ice Cream was. And Meth, I think Meth's just that his voice,
Meth
his
got
his,
it.
his flow. Yeah, like Meth is
You take
like
you take Meth and put him on this, and you take I don't know Raekwon off or something like that, and I think it still works. Like I mean, Meth
yeah,
can
yeah,
make it
because
work as far as he just couldn't do that on his own
yeah,
albums.
But yeah, Meth could have gave them a verse on this, like, but just even his contribution there with the Butter Pecan, what he said, Butter Pecan,
And chocolate deluxe.
what
Even
else?
if caramels are getting touched, scooped in my ice cream truck.
Who
Who
tears
tears
it
it up?
up? Ice cold bitch smell down within the
In my
cuts.
clutch.
They
They
want their
want the
titties
titty
sucked.
suck ice cream.
Ice cream, like,
Parlez-vous français, many more.
yeah, like even
Merci, oui,
that.
oui, bonbons, and all that good stuff.
Like the only other person that could have probably got that off was Ghost out the crew.
Hmm.
Ghost is probably but Ghost even like Matthew was just like his voice, like his it,
He understood how to be on a track.
yeah,
Like, and that was the thing. Like, I feel like Meth is just as bad as, or not, if worse than Nas, as far as picking the right tracks to rap
weeks,
over.
yeah,
Um, and I feel like it's certain artists, like, and that's the dope part about being an A&R or having that role within the company. Like, we started to get to a point within music, and I don't want to digress too much, but we started getting within music that is more the artist driving it than what people want to hear.
hmm
It's like the artist knows what the people want to hear, and it's not always like that. Like, you have somebody like Soldier Boy who damn near had every song done before he even signed his deal, that he understood what the Atlanta sound was at the time, and this is what people like. But then you have, I don't know, like some of the older artists, like say for instance when we talked about Mos Def earlier. It's like I listened to, outside of black on black on both sides. um I listen to his music, and it's like hard. It's like, well, I feel like he wanted that, and he wasn't going from the direction. Like, you look at Talib Kweli. I feel like
yeah,
Talib Kweli has a great ear for being able to make quality albums. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't see anyone necessarily directing him, but I feel like
yeah.
Talib Kweli had a better rap album career than Mos Def did. So,
Oh yeah, definitely.
so, but what about let's shift it to Wu Gambino's. Your feelings on
Uh,
that one? And I know you had mentioned it earlier, but um, let me ask you this. 'Cause I know that you like the song, so and we talked about RZA just being whatever on the track, but
yeah.
where do you put this song? Like, if you had to rate it within like top five collaborative songs, where would you put this as far as a Wu Tang collaboration?
You talking
Like,
about
with over
within
like
Wu Tang
majority of niggas.
collaborations?
I'll say at least five niggas on the track, because it was at least 5 or 6 on this one. So,
Yeah. Uh, I probably put it two behind Triumph
okay.
at the top. I'm trying to think about some others out there, but like, yeah, it's probably because I don't think there's. I think there's might be one or two tracks on Enter the Wu Tang.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it's better than that. I feel like on the W there's at least one or two tracks. I think there was that Gravel Pit maybe, but I can't remember which one. But I think it's better than that. I think Triumph, to me, Triumph is the only one that's better than this.
Hmm. Yeah,
Wait,
I
but
feel you on
I'm
that one.
trying to think how many people are on Fourth Chamber.
Maybe Protect Your Neck.
And if I go Protect Your Neck, I'm only going it because
I
it
might
was
go. I
dope.
might go. I
It
might
was
go three at that one though. I might go three with Protect, but I liked it.
yeah,
It was just a lot of that. A lot. I know it was a lot of niggas rapping on that one. So,
yeah. It was like the introduction and
mhm.
everything. Um, I think Fourth Chamber on it because you had what Killer Priest, Genius, RZA,
Master Killer,
Master Killer, Ghost. Um, so
Assassinations Day.
that's right. I still go with Wu Gambinos. I think for my
Yeah, I
number
still put this
two.
higher than that one though.
Um, yeah,
Um,
Fourth Chamber could possibly slide in at the number two for me.
mhm.
Um, but I still think it's gonna be Wu Gambinos. Like I really like Meth opens it up. I really like Meth's verse. I said,
That's a tough one. Shit.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Because like I said, For Heaven's Sakes is one of my favorite tracks.
yeah,
I think it was like 4 or 5 of them on that one. I know Inspector Deck. Yeah, it was a lot of people on that one. That was my shit. Um,
yeah. I'd probably have to go back and try to
as high
listen
as
to
Wu Tang
some.
gets.
Yeah,
I got it. We got to go
I
back.
just
We got to revisit that one. We got to do Into the Wu Tang eventually, but definitely wanted to cover this one because I feel like I still I like Into the Wu Tang because it was the
Yeah.
introduction, but I don't know. I probably like whenever I go back and listen to the Wu in general, I kind of lean towards this album first, and then I
Hmm.
start going to the. I probably honestly I probably go to the dub or to Wu Tang Forever before I go to Into the 36 Chambers.
Yeah,
But
and I really like the W.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, the W was a good album. Yeah,
yeah, I like it was. I think well, yeah, that came
yeah,
after
that had
Wu Tang
Hollow Bones
Forever.
on it. That was my shit.
Yeah, yeah, that Hollow Bones. The Click Click. Because
Had
it's
the joint
like,
on there with what was the joint with Nas? Nas had a track on there.
yep, Redman was on there too.
Mhm.
Uh,
Only song I
yeah,
really didn't like on the W was probably Gravel Pit.
yeah, it was just
They got my
yeah, that's
gravel
the
pit.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought that shit was too
um,
jiggy. I've never played that
yeah,
song in no party ever. I was
yeah,
like, "Woo, this is not y'all lane." But
yeah.
I don't want to go too deep into it. But like, do you feel like with the second albums, like a lot of them didn't have the success of the first albums. A lot of them didn't even get a second album. But do you feel like that might have been impacted by the Hot 97 stuff?
Hot 90 was the Hot 97 stuff. I'm trying to remember.
So the Hot
Was it
97 and 97, they was on tour with the rock band. I can't remember which rock band, but Hot
Ray
97
Smith
requested
Machine?
them
I
to
think.
come back and perform. And then
Oh, that's
when they
Summer
got to
Jam.
perform, they kind of hold them like they let Bad Boy be up there. They thought Bad Boy was up there too long and blah blah blah. So then when they got on stage, Ghostface said, "Fuck Hot 97."
Yeah.
And then that kind of like I felt like that kind of killed some of the momentum that they had. This is when radio could do that, but because it's not that's like nigga, we didn't listen to Hot 97 like that. I mean,
Right.
we only knew of Hot 97 because of famous DJs with Angie Martinez and Funkmaster Flex and stuff like that. They were just famous DJs within the country or within New York
Right.
in general. But they had that ability to, well, like we push the culture, we push the music. So if they say, hey, we're because I want to say they just recently they might still be banned, but they didn't play none of their music, so which can impact other program directors to play Wu-Tang's music. So do you feel as if, or do you think that that would have had a similar or like some kind of impact? And I mean, it had some impact, but a major impact with them being able to get off the second albums.
Man, I don't know because man, outside of Supreme Clientele, I
Hmm.
don't know who dropped a good second album.
That's what I'm saying. Like, did it impact? Because like you got
I mean,
Genius, you got
it could
just
probably be. I mean, it could probably be a combination of both. But like for instance, Gene's second album wasn't.
that shit was terrible.
Yeah, it was. We already talked about Raekwon's immobility. Old Dirty. Like I
Inspector Deck
mean,
came around that time too.
yeah. I mean, if
Oh Dirty is actually not. I mean, Oh Dirty was Oh Dirty. Like so, he had kind
yeah,
of veered away from the Wu Tang sound.
yeah,
But I mean, I ain't gonna say it was a classic or it was like good. I thought it was okay.
yeah.
But yeah, like you said, outside of Ghostface, nobody really made noise on the second time around. But I'm saying like with them potentially losing steam from because dog 97. I remember that was when I was living there that summer when I was at the D and like I remember seeing them on Times Square. Like I saw I think I took a picture and shit somewhere. I don't know. This shit was with them little disposable cameras. But I remember like seeing Wu Tang on Times Square, and I was like, damn, like my niggas made it. Like that was just
Right.
some dope ass shit. But it felt like they lost the momentum after that album. That album just so happened to coincide with the Hot 97 stuff, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Man, I feel like it's a combination of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause I feel like, cause if you would have asked me like what was the quality of the music of the Wu Tang albums after Wu Tang Forever,
Mm-hmm.
I say it wasn't that high. Like cause I think by the time the W came out, like we had been through that wave of like second albums or some people's first albums that weren't that great. And so
Mm-hmm.
like I think the W was just kind of I think it was only like 12 tracks. I think the W was just kind of like oh shit, this shit ain't bad. Like, cause I'll still play to this day. I'm like, damn, this album is. I was like, this album was probably pretty solid, and I wasn't
Yeah, no, it was
expecting
good. Like I said, the
that much.
only problem I had was Gravel Pit. Like literally,
Yeah,
that's the only shit I was just like, I try. I mean, the thing is, this kind of goes with the Nas conversation that we was having earlier, or just people like I tried to like that song because it was Wu Tang,
right.
and I couldn't get into it. I was, but people were like, oh, but you a DJ and da da da. I was like, yeah,
That
DJing.
ain't even a good DJ song. But go ahead,
Yeah,
my bad.
like that part
Yeah,
is like,
yeah,
it's just one of them like I'm not I'm trying to like it as a fan and I'm trying
right.
to like it as a DJ. I'm not thinking of it like I literally separate the two. Like I buy music
Yeah,
and when I buy music, I don't buy it to like regular listening to like I don't buy it to DJ with. I buy DJ
right,
music separately to DJ with. Like I'm gonna buy, I don't know, Boss Man D-Lo.
right. Yeah,
I got three or four of his songs that people love, you know what I'm saying?
right.
But shit, if I'm going to listen to his album, I'm not gonna buy it. I'll just listen to it through Apple Music. Or
Yeah,
if I want to buy an album, I'm like, well, let me check out somebody. Like I don't know. I'm
You-
not buying him as my favorite artist. I'm buying him as a
yeah.
potential to listen, like to be able to DJ with.
Exactly.
So and
Yeah,
that's the finding the balance of it with. But
yeah. I got you.
yeah. So how do you feel
Um,
about Heaven and Hell?
man, I mean, I feel like it was where that Wikipedia page I was looking at. They claimed it was the first single to the album. I think it really was. Man,
Some
they
niggas
just
are
asked
lying
for
on that.
yeah, like
Some
they
niggas just wrote that shit. Like Heaven and Hell was
yeah,
clearly the single from Fresh,
yeah, and
and
it's like
I don't even associate this song to
only built for
like these
Cuban Linx.
last two tracks. I don't even associate to the album. Like you said, I mean, like I said,
Like I
it's
feel
on the album, but
yeah,
you know,
I, I feel like you put it on there because it wasn't like so. Like I said, it was dropped in October of '94, and like granted, like so it was like 7 months from when Only Built for Cuban Links actually dropped, but that was back when like man, a lead single might have like a 2 or 3 month lead on like an album actually dropping. I think this is one where like you like, oh well, we had it on the soundtrack. We already got it done. We're gonna throw it on there. We're gonna throw it on our album too because hey, fans might have liked the album, but they maybe didn't cop the fresh soundtrack for it. They might like the song, but they ain't cop the fresh soundtrack for it. So we're gonna give it to them on here. Like I think you'll you see instances of that every now and then where like somebody has like a soundtrack. It was specific for a soundtrack, but then they turned around and they put it on their album as well, which is
all the
to
Wu
like just
shit ended up on albums that they dropped
yeah,
for
like
soundtracks, which is crazy.
the only built Winter Wars ended up on
Mhm.
Iron Man.
Yep.
And if you think about it, like if you think
The
about
other
like the vein of
Motherless
what,
Child.
yeah, like you,
So,
so I don't think it to what you're saying. The fact that like it was put at the end of the album probably speaks to it. It was like we had on the first soundtrack. It hasn't been a year. We gonna go ahead and throw it on here for like fans that were we just gonna throw it on here for the fans. And then like you said, I think North Star was just man, it was just hitting people over here with that 5% stuff. Um, I don't like you said. I mean, we said it earlier. I think for me, the album ends at Wu Gambino's.
yeah,
Like I can shut it off at that point. Like if it ends up riding out because I might have been riding in the car and you like
it
oh,
just ends
okay,
up coming on.
yeah, you just let it ride. But like yeah, like if I were to do as I'm thinking about, because sometimes I'll go on Apple Music and like I'll make playlists. Like I'll like when we did a little Biggie thing. Um, I just did. I think I called it like a slim down version of of Life After Death, and I
Hmm.
just put all the songs that I liked.
Hmm.
Um, and I probably ended up with around 10 or 12 tracks. And like this one of the things, like if I were to do this, I probably wouldn't put striving for perfection on there because then I
In the
usually I'll
middle,
just
bro.
hit shuffle
Yeah.
and it's an
Mhm.
intro. But like I wouldn't put these last two tracks on there.
Oh no, they ain't getting no
Like
love at all.
nah, I
Like I
wouldn't.
said, I associate Heaven and Hell. Like, Heaven and Hell reminds me of Jay-Z with Volume 2 when he put Money Anything on there.
Yeah, yeah,
When
that's
he
right.
put what's the song Can I Get Her on there. Um,
Yep, from the Rush Hour joint. Yeah,
the Sprung song on the first album, or not first, volume
nah,
one.
Volume One. Yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
so it's
yeah,
kind
that
of
joint.
like these are just bonus tracks to me. So in
Yeah,
my opinion, they don't impact the album. You know what I'm saying?
nah,
Like if I as far as me, because if you look at that album, I think, and that's probably like one of the few times I can actually say Swizz was okay. You know, but other than that, it's just the tracks that's on there that kind of like quote unquote don't fit are tracks that were on other soundtracks or on other people's projects.
right, yeah, wasn't made like Studio Sessions for Only Built for Cuban Links probably didn't include this song on there, and if it did, it was probably really early in the process.
Hmm.
But it probably wasn't. It was probably like, hey, we gotta give a song. Hey, they tapped us for a song for the soundtrack. Let's like make this song real quick. And then it was like 6 months later, hey, let's throw this on Only Built for Cuban Links. Because at the time, like, I mean, you remember hearing about Fresh, but like, you know, there were soundtracks I was buying. I think I did buy the Fresh soundtrack. But I mean, like soundtracks, like I could see
They had
where.
Giancarlo. What's his name? Giancarlo, the actor.
Oh yeah, my man from I'm thinking about from Breaking Bad, but he's been in a bunch of other stuff
Yeah,
though
him.
too.
Yeah, he's from Breaking
Yeah,
Bad.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm
Giancarlo.
yeah, I just know he's been in a lot of other stuff
I just
besides
know he was
Breaking
nasty in
Bad.
that movie. He was messing with his sister. His sister, I want to say, she looked like she was in high
Uh,
school, but it was a chick from Blade. She was fine
okay,
too. I thought she should have been in Blade too, but but
I
yeah,
never
he was
saw
messing with her.
Fresh.
You never saw Fresh?
Mm-mm.
Oh
I just
damn.
saw bits and pieces. I remember when he shot that dog, pulled the Michael Vick on him
Well, you know what's
before
the name
Michael
sample
Vick.
Fresh too. Big Pun. With the fat Puerto Rican kid, whatever.
I feel like I
Yo,
remember that.
I got the
Yeah,
fresh dope moves.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know that was from Fresh. That's funny.
yeah. It's
That's
a
funny.
movie that it's a movie that's it's worth a watch. You don't have
Okay.
to watch it again.
Mm.
The one kid, Mike from
Oh, the what?
yeah,
Okay.
I think that was the main one. Wasn't he the
I
main
think
one?
so. Now that you're saying that, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I think that was him. Okay. Um, but yeah, so we
Okay.
gotta let's think of it right now. If you got see how much time we got. All right, we'll wrap up in like 1 or 2 minutes. But what's your what album do you want to target next?
Young Guns.
I mean, we could talk offline if that makes it easier.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Now, so here's something I was thinking of. I was thinking of one. I was thinking Mob Deep, but I wasn't sure which one you wanted to cover. I wasn't sure if you want to either cover the Infamous or you want to cover maybe Murder Music or even Hell on Earth. I mean, I like those three albums to me that
Yeah.
it's hard to like those are dope. Then I thought about Outkast, and I was like, well, do you want to do Southern Playalistic, ATLians, what's that?
Aquemini.
What's Equimini? We're not doing Stankonia.
Nah.
So so just take your time and think about what we could do Tribe, what we could do Midnight Marauders. That's the only one I don't actually feel like talking about. The other ones I didn't really like People Instinctive Travels or the Low End Theory. They had good songs on them, but you know, like when I consider a classic one, I put it to the Midnight Marauders.
I got you.
Have we did a Hove? We haven't did a Hove.
We've only
We could do
done two.
we could do Blueprint or Reasonable Doubt. Hell, we could do American. Unbiased opinion. Like when you order, we could talk. We could stop, but I really consider American Gangster can be in my top 3 or 4 Jay-Z albums ever.
I'd have to give it a listen too.
Yeah, American. Another reason I'm saying that, like, I put like the top 3 most people put is Reasonable Doubt, um, Blueprint,
Look,
and
Black Album.
Black Album.
Yeah.
But I might put that one above Black Album.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to doing American gangster. I want to be opposed to doing ones that, like, to me, maybe aren't not so classic, but are probably like
Oh, so you want to do terrible
fav-
ones?
not even well, not necessarily terrible ones, but ones that might be favorites among us. Like off the top, like I was joking when I said Young Guns, but it is like one of my favorite albums. I can't really tell you why, but like where I think about like Cameron's first album, um,
Oh,
like
Confessions of Fire.
yeah, like where they're not
Yeah, it's one of my
classics per
favorite albums.
se,
Yeah,
but I say like I think Only Built for Cuban Links and Illmatic, like those are if you're talking to hip hop fans, like those are like the
staples of like,
yeah, those are the staples like that people want to be surprised on. Like I think Doggy Style would be a good one to do as well.
let's do
Uh,
let's do Doggy Style.
Everything you say pause on, you don't say pause on that. Uh,
Let's run that Doggy Style real quick.
I said pause
Man,
on
we could do
everything
Doggy
else.
Style all day. You can
Well,
run that Doggy Style whenever you want to, man. We could do that shit all day,
yeah,
all
I
night.
I guess we should do it before June ends.
We definitely should do Doggy Style before June ends.
Shut up. Um, yeah, but stuff like that. But like I said, to me, I was thinking more on like not saying all of them, but like every now and then do one that was favorites to us. And I know some of them might have to be agreements on because there's
I would
ones,
love to do Camp Low. Cool.
yeah, something like that, where
Yeah.
it's like um ones that I probably actually have to do my homework on
Yeah, no, because
and
I'm definitely
listen.
going to have to relive. I'm saying I love the Camp Low album. I got to go back and listen to that.
Yeah,
That one was one like, we don't got to stick it to R&B. I mean, it could, I mean to hip hop. It could be like D'Angelo. Brown Sugar is one up there. I hold up there very high. Shit, My Life. Um,
yeah,
you know, so
yeah, makes sense.
cool.
I'll
Well,
let you figure it out. You can do it with Mike though.
nah, I'm doing it with Ed. We got Ed. We
Uh,
got Ed on the track.
nah, you can get Mike
Ed
for
is
the
what I
doggy
said.
style.
Huh? Oh, I can do Doggy Style with Ed.
No, I said you can get that one with Mike.
Oh, the doggy. No, I want to do Doggy Style with you.
You cool, man. You cool, man.
Cool. Thank
You
you all for
cool.
listening. Appreciate y'all. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment. Not leave a comment. We don't give a shit. It'd be dope if you did though. Tell us what we could do better, how it could be more improved, and what we're doing great. Thank you all for listening. Appreciate y'all. Talk to you soon. Reality or Not
Right.
Podcast with your boy Sean and Ed, DJ Reality. Peace.
Peace.